Hi everybody, morning. You're a bouncy bunch this morning. Hello Alfie, Shauna, Marnie, hello everybody that I haven't mentioned or seen in the chat yet. How are we all doing? This is the final day of National Work Experience Week, and for those who I've not seen this week, my name is Heather Reynolds from Career Map. I'll be your host this morning. Today I'm going to be joined by Sarah and Oksana from the Royal Mail. They'll be telling you all about the work experience opportunities at the organisation, as well as apprenticeships, traineeships, T Levels and internships as well. So just a bit of a word of warning, there's going to be some polls in the session. So a lot of you have already found the chat. Hello, Magnus. A lot of you have already found the chat box already. So when we run a poll, the poll icon should be below your chat button. So there'll be a couple of polls in the session, and if you want to ask any questions as we go along, we'll collate them and run them by Sarah and Oksana in the Q&A at the end section of the presentation. Just one final note to let you know that the session is being recorded, so it'll be emailed to you next week with all of the links to apply and find out more. And I think really that's my cue to disappear and hand over to Sarah and Oksana, and I'll see you for the Q&A.
Thank you very much, Heather. Can I just double check that you can hear me okay?
Yeah, you're fine.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. So I say hello to everybody who's joined us today. Thank you very much for coming and being interested in hearing about all of our work experience opportunities at Royal Mail. I'm Sarah McGinley. I am what's called an apprenticeship programme manager, but I'm also an apprentice at Royal Mail myself. I came straight from college and I'm doing a degree apprenticeship. So I'll take you through the majority of the presentation today, and then I'll be handing over to Oksana, who is our sales training manager, to talk about their new sales traineeship opportunity. But Oksana, I'll just let you quickly introduce yourself now.
Of course. So I'm Oksana. I'm a sales training manager here at Royal Mail. I have started my career like Sarah as an apprentice. So I have been through the similar journey, and we are now launching a new sales traineeship, which I'm going to be talking a lot more about later in the day. Well, late in the morning.
Thanks, Oksana. So hopefully you can all see the slides. There is a QR code on there, but I'll pop it up at the end of the presentation as well. That takes you straight through to our early careers website, where you can see current vacancies, and you'll be able to sort of sign up for future ones as well. I'm also just going to post in the chat the direct link, just in case that QR code doesn't work for anyone as well. And again, at the very bottom of the screen, you'll see that there's an early.careers@royalmail.com email address. That comes straight through to me and the team that I work in. And you'll be directed there throughout this presentation if you have sort of more questions after we've done the Q&A for the session as well. We're very easily contactable, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. But without further ado, I guess we'll jump straight into it, really. So we've got a poll, if that's okay, Heather, straight off the bat, just to sort of ask you all what work experience opportunities you want to find out more about today. So we're going to talk about apprenticeships, traineeships, T-level placements, internships, and then a general overview of sort of all of that other work experience opportunities we do. So it'd be great to hear what you guys are looking for today.
The poll's live. Everybody's casting their vote now.
Perfect.
Just give me a nudge when you want me to finish it.
Thank you. I'll just give everybody a few seconds. Great. It looks like the majority of people are looking at multiple options, which is great. We won't cover them in too much detail, but hopefully enough to give you an overview. That's great. Thank you very much, Heather. Okay. So we'll start off with a bit about Royal Mail. I imagine most of you have probably heard of us before. We're what we'd call a household name. You're probably well familiar with our post people who come to your house and drop letters and parcels off. But we're actually a much bigger business than that. So we have sort of our UK parcels, international and letter side of the business. So that's Royal Mail as you know it and Parcel Force. But we also have GLS, which is more of our sort of international and global side of the business. We are the universal service provider, and this is what sort of makes us a bit different from other couriers and delivery service providers. It means that when you're sending a parcel, obviously you go and it's done up based on weight or sort of sending it first class, second class next day. But it doesn't matter whether you're just sending it down the road or you're sending it right to the Highlands of Scotland, it's all the same price and we'll deliver that in the time that you've specified as well. As you'll see on the screen, we handle billions of parcels and letters a year, and obviously to do that we need a huge workforce, and we're one of the UK's largest employers with over 140,000 people in the business. So in terms of talking about work experience and career opportunities today, I'm sure you can imagine the sheer breadth of what we offer. So just a bit on why we host work experience opportunities. Really, it's about helping us to continue to build a diverse and inclusive workforce. We want to be future ready, but we also want to represent the communities we serve. So we want to make sure that we're reflecting diverse thinking and all of that sort of good stuff too. We want to make sure that we're getting fresh ideas that can innovate the business in terms of performance improvement and process improvement, but we also want to make sure that we're creating accessible career paths. And again, going back to the breadth of the business, that there's generally something that everybody's interested in, something for everybody. Okay, so another poll, please. Heather, we've only got 2, I promise I'm not going to make you all do polls continuously throughout the presentation, but we'd just really like to understand what of the job roles listed do you think we do not offer at Royal Mail? So which one do you look at and you think, I don't think Royal Mail will offer that one? Okay, I can start to see responses coming through. Drone pilot, health and wellbeing officer, robotics engineer. It's all a bit split at the moment. Okay, quite a few for drone pilot and quite a few for robotics engineer as well. Okay, an artificial intelligence operations manager. Thank you. Thanks very much, Heather, for that. So I've been a bit mean. It's a bit of a trick question because you had to pick one, but we actually have all of these at Royal Mail in some shape or form across the business. We have a big innovations hub in Swindon that focuses a lot on artificial intelligence and robotics, and you'll hear a bit more about this when I talk about engineering and our internships in particular later on. But this is very much sort of our progressive side of the business, looking to be future ready and making sure that we're working with that sort of cutting edge technology. Whilst we don't offer necessarily work experience straight off the bat in all of these roles, it's just to give you an idea of the breadth of careers in Royal Mail as well. So thanks for completing that, everybody. Okay, so again, just some of our career opportunities, and these are sort of our big areas that I've categorised here, but by no means does it cover everything we offer. But we do have sort of your general finance, we've got human resources where I sit, we've got commercial and sales where Oksana sits as a training manager, but we also have a breadth of opportunities from data and cyber security to robotics, as we've already covered, in engineering, customer service, customs, workplace coaches, just again to give you an idea of the breadth of the organisation. Okay, so why choose Royal Mail? So I've surmised some of our different sort of offers, I guess, and things like that we do at Royal Mail. These aren't all available if you just come and do some work experience to us. Some of them are if you're employed on a full-time basis, but again, just to give you an idea that when you join us for a career, the types of things that are available to you. So obviously, if you do an apprenticeship, you can earn whilst you learn. Across many of them, including the traineeships, you can study towards some sort of professional qualification or recognised certificate. We work with the Apprentice Trust and Duke of Edinburgh to do the Gold Award, and we also have mentoring and coaching support as well. Internally, we have a lot of charity partnerships. We pride ourselves both on the apprenticeship side of the business and more widely than that to work with a lot of charities and support them and support our employees as well. We've recently started an apprentice ambassador network, so that brings all of our apprentices across the country together, not only to create a bit of a community, but to help us improve what we're doing as well. We've got competitive salaries, we do employee discounts, health and wellbeing support, and then at the end, some of the stuff we've already touched on around innovation and cutting edge technology, which is very much where the business is going. Okay, so we're going to play a quick video now. We didn't produce one for National Work Experience Week, unfortunately, but we did do a bit of a video for National Apprenticeship Week, where Paul Scully, the MP for Postal Service, came and visited to celebrate our new large goods vehicle driving apprentices. You can see one on screen. So it's just a quick short video to give you a bit of a feel for our Rochester Mail Centre and some of our apprentices that have come in. Are we okay to play that now, Heather?
Yeah, sure. Just start it now for you.
We're in the Rochester Distribution Centre for the Royal Mail, and it's fantastic to see the apprentices because it's National Apprenticeship Week, and so we're showcasing the very best of what you can get from an apprentice, both as an employer and as an apprentice yourself. What I've seen is that Royal Mail, being such a large, varied organisation, has a massive amount of roles. It's something like 50-odd apprentice programmes throughout Royal Mail, so there's something for everybody. They can transfer between different roles throughout their careers as well. So I've seen people from the customer end of delivering the post through to people who are actually learning to drive the big 42-ton trucks. There's definitely something for everyone, and they're all really enjoying it because you can learn alongside full-time work, you can get paid as you're learning and learning a trade, and it's really exciting. What it's great to do is it helps us with our productivity, it helps us grow as a country and an economy, and it helps us grow our skills. It means there are plenty more alternatives than just school, university and what have you. You can have vocational training, working with some big companies and small companies to really get into a wide variety of careers.
Thank you very much. So I hope that gave you a bit of an overview. It was Paul Scully, the MP, that you were hearing from on there, but he came just to have a look at what we were doing with our apprentices. And like I say, we recently launched our large goods vehicle driving apprenticeship scheme as well. So it was in celebration of that. It was the first time we've done it as well. So I'll move on now, and we're going to start to get into a bit of the depths of the work experience and probably what you guys want to hear about today. So we're going to cover off all of those on the screen, and I'll start with apprenticeships because that's probably the biggest area for us at the moment. So I'm going to just quickly whiz through some of our sort of live schemes and what we're offering at the minute. But what I will say is that QR code that will come up at the end again, I would encourage you to go through to our early careers website and create an alert for apprenticeships in the future if that's what you're interested in. We do work on things like technology and HR and other sides of the business that aren't necessarily schemes that we're offering right now, but maybe something that we would do in the future.
Sarah, can I just interrupt for a moment? And can I pop your email address in, the early careers address in the chat now? Can you remind me what it was on the front page of the presentation?
Yeah, it was just our early.careers@royalmail.com. That's our sort of main contact, really. So if you have any questions about apprenticeships or any of the work experiences, you can do that. I've actually got the link to our early careers website, so I can pop that in the chat now. And that again will take you straight through. And if you go on to there, it's pretty simple. It'll just give you an option to have a look at live vacancies, create an alert, pop in that you're interested in apprenticeships and your email address, and then you can choose how often you get email notifications about that as well.
Brilliant. Thank you.
No worries. So I'll start off with engineering and vehicle maintenance. So these are pretty much our most long-standing apprenticeships. They're both 3-year programs, but they've very much changed in what we do and what we deliver from when we originally set these up. Engineering is very much still about learning how to fix things, how to maintain all of our machinery. We obviously have parcel sorting machines and letter sorting machines, and we have engineering technicians who are there on a daily basis to make sure that they're working for us. More recently, it's also started to embed some of our innovation initiatives. So when I talked earlier about robotics and intelligent sorting machines and how we can use artificial intelligence to make processes smoother, that's also something that our engineers look at that's really interesting as well. On the vehicle maintenance side, that is about maintaining all of our vehicles and making sure that they work and repairing them if there's something wrong mechanically. We're also building up our electric sort of vans and trucks in our electric fleet at the moment, so that's starting to become a core component on that. It's very much about replacing parts, diagnosing faults, and solving complex problems as well. I won't go through the entry requirements and the pay scale in any detail because I'm sure you can see that on there, but both of these are nationwide and they're something that we offer on a yearly basis. We also offer what we'd call apprenticeships in our corporate centre. So this is finance and project management. Our finance and accounting apprenticeship also offers you the opportunity to study towards those formal finance qualifications, the AAT, and you would come in and you'd start on level 2 and you would work your way up through the different levels. The great thing about our finance apprenticeship is it's on a rotational basis. So throughout all of your programme, you'll be able to sort of work with the finance technology and the data side of finance, but you'll also get to experience the reporting side, the financial management side, working with our suppliers and our customers to make sure that they pay us and we pay them. So you'll get sort of the full breadth experience before deciding where you would like to specialise in your career as well. With project management, again, that's probably even more open, and that's a level 4 programme, and we're really looking for people who can come into the business and really get their experience on all sorts of projects. So you could find that you're working with sales or you're working with HR, but you might be working in the operation as well. Most recently, one of our apprentices who were working towards their project management qualification helped and led on the deployment of the lateral flow test. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with either ordering yourself or your parents ordering lateral flows to come through your mailbox at home, and that apprentice was responsible for making sure that that was all quite seamless and coordinated nationwide. So again, I'm sure you can imagine that that's a big achievement for someone to do when they've come after college on a 2-year programme and they've been able to get that achievement under their belt already. And then our newest 2 apprenticeships, would you believe? Last year we launched our level 2 postal apprenticeship. So it's what it says on the tin really. It's an opportunity for people to come in, learn the role of a postie, learn about delivering to homes, businesses, developing responsibility for your own round, working in our mail centres or our delivery offices to organise the post and the parcels and make sure that they get where they need to be. We've also then got the level 2 large vehicle driving apprenticeship, which is what was referenced in that video. And I saw a question about, is the driving licence required? And for this apprenticeship it is. It's looking for people who have maybe got 1 to 2 years max driving experience, and you'll have a mix of classroom training and in-cab training in the working environment to make sure that not only you can drive the vehicle, but you're equipped to do all of your safety checks and you can get everything from A to B as well. So that covers off all of our apprenticeships. Like I said before, we sometimes offer data apprenticeships in technology. They're just on a little bit more of an ad hoc basis, but I do know that we've got some coming up in the pipeline. So if you are interested in other things, I would really recommend you go into the Early Careers site and signing up for alerts on apprenticeships, and you'll get them through to your email when they go live. So now we'll move on to T Levels. So I'm a bit biased. I think T Levels are great. So I might spend a little bit more time on this. But for anybody who doesn't know, T Levels are 2-year technical programs. They're an alternative to A Levels, really. So for T Levels, you would pick a technical subject. You would go into college as you would for A Levels for 2 years, but in your second year, you would have a 45-day placement with an employer. So from our side, I'm going to be talking about that 45-day placement. Most recently, we've hosted a number of digital placements, so the Digital Support Services T Level, where 3 college students came into the business and they had some learning around what digital platforms we use, what data we use in the operation, and how that supports from end to end, where we get the post and the mail delivered. They had sort of a mini project. They were with us for 9 full weeks, and they were required to have a look and review the platform step by step, and where maybe things didn't quite make sense or needed some improvements. And then they did a presentation to the business to recommend what they thought needed improving at the end of the placement. So although quite short, what we did find with that was that it really helped them to sort of understand from all the theory that they've learned in college around digital and data and innovation, what that looks like in the workplace as well. So in terms of how you access a T-level placement, we are already looking at how we support more T-level placements across the country. There's not just digital, there's a vast array of T-levels available. And we're looking at working with local colleges to sort of field those placements across our different areas of the business and our teams. So if you are currently completing a T-level at the moment, or if you go on to college and you pick that route to complete one in the future, again, you can get in touch with us at that early.careers@royalmail.com email address, and we'll be more than happy to see where we can host you. Again, if you're already on a T-level and you're at your college, you can also speak with them about getting in touch with us, and we'd be more than happy to do that. Again, it's quite flexible dependent upon the subject that is chosen, and we would obviously work around the placements to make sure that people are getting an innovative and engaging experience and really being able to put into practice what they're learning. Okay, so next one I want to talk about is internships. So just quickly, an internship is a period of work experience with an employer, and what it is about giving people the opportunity to explore different careers and develop and learn new skills. At the moment, we predominantly offer engineering internships, and they're like a sandwich year at university, so they start every September and last for 12 months. Last year, our engineering interns worked closely with the innovation team in Swindon, and that was very much about robotics and solutions and how we can innovate and improve there as well. And so what I'd like to stress is that internships aren't about coming in and necessarily just getting the tea and coffee. It's not always just administrative work. We really do want to make sure that when you're coming in for an internship, you are at the front and centre, but with that support of the team to make sure that you're getting a really good experience. Previously, we've also done summer internships in places like finance and HR as well. So again, what I would say, if you're interested in completing an internship with us, engineering or otherwise, please get in touch via that email address, and we'll be more than happy to work with you to see what we can accommodate. And I'll hand over to you now, Oksana, if that's all right, just to discuss the new Sales Traineeship.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So hello, everyone. As I mentioned before, I am part of the commercial area of Royal Mail Group, and it's sales. So when I started my sales apprenticeship, the first question I was ever getting, what is it that you do there? Do you sell stamps? Well, no, actually. What we do in Royal Mail sales, we work with various customers, from big ones like John Lewis, different football clubs, to smaller sellers that sell on eBay or Amazon. We help them to make sure that they use the right services that they need for us. And this is where the sales roles come into play. So this is where we decided that it would be good for us to offer an opportunity for young people like yourself to actually experience sales environment. So before I start telling you a bit more about the traineeship, what are the traineeships as such? They are usually 10 to 12 week learning programs that offer a learning and specifically the formal sort of learning and formal qualification and a work experience with an employer. They usually unpaid and give you the right entry point to your career, to the specific field you may choose to gain the experience in. So this our sales traineeship is a 12-week program, and with the work experience of 3 weeks with us. So what you will get? Well, first of all, you will kickstart your career in business-to-business sales. So business-to-business sales environment, you will learn what is it that we do as a company, what kind of services we sell, and how we work with customers, what kind of customers we have, and you will get an understanding of the office environment. You will get an experience in working in a corporate sort of sales environment as well, which is for some of you may be quite interesting, because it's an area where you can experiment and understand whether it's something you want to take forward in your career. Well, you will. Like I said, even though it's not paid, you will get your daily meals paid for, and a travel allowance that we will cover for your daily commute. And also, as I mentioned, you will receive the formal qualification that you've undertook this training, that you can take forward in your career, whether it's with Royal Mail or elsewhere. At the moment, we will be looking, we are going to be offering those opportunities in Leeds and Peterborough. And I say Royal Mail, well, these opportunities are going to be in Leeds for Royal Mail and in Peterborough for Parcel, our sister company that we work with. So let me take you to the next slide. So once you've gone through this experience and you've got your professional qualification, and also in as part of your learning experience, what you learn is not just about Royal Mail, but also about general knowledge, how to create a CV, and what is a professional development, how to work with customers, what is a customer experience, what is a customer service, and how to provide a great customer service and how to work with customers. So after that, you may think that actually sales is 100% your career. So you will get an opportunity to become a sales apprentice, which will be a fully paid role, where, as Sarah mentioned before, that you will be, it's 80-20, you will be working, it's a full-time role, sales role, as well as, of course, the sales qualification. Alternatively, you may think that actually I like Royal Mail, but not sales isn't maybe for you. You will have an opportunity to look for other opportunities in Royal Mail, and you would have had some work experience and some knowledge as well, which will help you to understand what sort of roles are over there and career paths, really. But of course, you will have your sales experience as well. So now about you, what is it that we are looking for? Well, we're looking for 16 to 18-year-olds who are keen, enthusiastic, open-minded, and are looking to learn new skills and knowledge. So you may think, well, do you need any qualifications? No, not for this role. So the beauty of traineeships are that we do not require any formal qualifications, but you will need to complete your level 2 maths and English by the end of the traineeship, which again will be another sort of motivation for you to complete that by the end of apprenticeship, and again another qualification that you can take forward with you in your career. So and one of the biggest thing for you, if you like working with people, you may have experience of working in sales or customer service roles, or you enjoy the environment working with customers. That's exactly a great opportunity for you. We're looking just for you. So your probably next question would be, so you've heard all about it, you now want to find out more and apply. Look out for the advert on the Princess Trust website. We are going to be launching it very, very soon, and about I think it's on the 9th of May. There might be a few days delay, so please do watch out, and we're looking forward to meeting you in sales. So back to you, Sarah.
Thank you very much, Oksana. So I think we're nearly at the end, everybody. So I just wanted to cover off and say, what if you're not completing one of the programs above, but you'd just like to gain some work experience with us for whatever reason and in whatever area. And again, I just highlight and say, please do get in touch and email us if you have any sort of queries or have any sort of ask of us, really, and we'll be more than happy to explore it with you. I'm not saying that the world is possible, but we can definitely work with the relevant teams internally to understand what opportunities we might be able to accommodate for you as well. And just to reassure you, if you email that inbox, it will be me or one of the team who picks it up as well, and we're very responsive, so please do let us know. And then, yeah, I'll leave it on this screen for now. Again, the QR code is on there that takes you to our early careers website. That is predominantly for apprenticeships. But if you've got any questions around T levels, traineeships, internships, or other work experience, please do email us. And thank you very much. Thanks very much for engaging with the polls. Thanks for all your questions that are coming in. I can see there's a lot. And thank you very much for sitting and listening to us.
Brilliant, thank you. It's been really interesting. Had loads of interesting questions as well. I'll start right away. But the first one, now we've just touched on apprenticeships just then, and with this QR code, there was a question in the chat which just said that within the website of the Royal Mail, with the apprenticeship section, there's nothing live yet at the moment. Is that correct? Right,
yes,
so
it is.
Live.
Sorry, a lot of them have just closed, but we'll be looking to recruit imminently for some of our other programs. What I would recommend doing, and it's a bit hard when I'm not sharing my screen, but if you go onto the Early Careers website, the first section should say apprenticeships, and under that it will say search jobs. I'm guessing that's where nothing has come up for you. About sort of halfway down the page before it gets to sort of where it says title and location, and it might say post person with driving, it should say watch jobs in this category, and then there'll be a big red button that'll say create an alert. What you can do is you can put it to say 30 days, so you'll get alerted every month, and if you follow that through, you'll be able to insert your details, including an email address, and then anything that's tagged to an apprenticeship in the future will come straight through to your email, and you can click on that when that vacancy is live and have a look if it's of interest to you. Equally, if there's a specific type of apprenticeship that you're interested in, please email us at one of the emails that are on the screen, and we'll be more than happy to let you know, even if it's the best guess, of when we'll be looking to recruit to that as well.
Brilliant, super helpful. There have, as you've seen, there's been so many questions. I think the best way for me to do it is kind of work backwards from the ones that were posted first, and then they should all follow the same kind of theme as we go along. One of the questions that, one of the topics that got a lot of interest was on one of your first slides during the poll, which was about the drones. And there was a lot of people that asked, what do you use the drones for?
So it's very, and I don't know if you have more detail than me on this, Oksana. I'm just thinking of where you work. But my understanding is the drones, it's very much, like I say, it's based in our innovation hub. So it's very much a test and trial at the minute. We don't actively use the drones to deliver your parcels. If anybody has had that experience, it's not us yet. But that drone pilot is very much about somebody who is responsible for testing this. So you might have heard of some of our competitors as well, I think, do the same thing. And it's about being, again, future ready. You know, I think to us, probably all sat here in this room at the minute, it's probably a bit strange to think about something flying and dropping down your ASOS parcel or something like that into your garden or down at your door and things like that. But it is the way of the world, and it's the way the world's going to be. So it's very much at the moment in our sort of innovative hub, our test and trial centre, sort of understand how we can start to use that technology in the future. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Oksana. I can see you smiling.
Yes, I do actually. So I do find this all fascinating. You're absolutely right, Sarah. It's all about future-proofing our business. So what we do use drones for, and it's probably not the little drones that you think about. They are those big drones to deliver the bulk post to the remote areas, like in Scotland, in the islands of Scotland. So we'd use those big ones, and then they would land. They're like mini planes, and then they would land all of your post and the parcels, and then the postman there will receive those parcels and then deliver it to your doorstep.
That is so interesting. I was going to say that I do get parcels dropped into my garden now and then, but I'm not sure that's a drone. Long. But anyway, I'll move on. So there was another question then, actually, which links in quite nicely about this. It was from Anton, which said, how is technology changing different roles within the Royal Mail?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's changing all of our roles, to be honest. A big, obviously, sort of internal and external strategy is to digitalise the business. I think many businesses are doing that at the minute, and it's looking at how can we make sort of all of our processes, whether it be pen and paper or human-based, and make sure that that is using technology to the best of our ability. For example, in my role, we've recently done a lot to digitalise how we work with all of our training providers who will deliver our apprenticeship training, to make sure that we're using technology as best as we can to track progress and to make sure that we're giving the support that we need. Previously, that might have all been done by sending spreadsheets to one another and things like that, but we now have an online portal that we do it. I think more widely than that, if we talk about technology, you know, we have got all of the drones, the innovation centre. We've got our intelligent sorting machines. So when you've got a parcel or a letter, you know, back in the day, as such, it would have been somebody reading them and physically saying, where is this going? Oh, it's going to this postcode, this town, I'll put it in this pile. We've got machines that do that for us now at very rapid speeds. And it's all about just, again, looking at, you know, how can we use virtual reality for learning? Rather than just having something on a screen that you have to read through. How can we make it engaging for people? So they're some of the ones that come into my mind. But again, Oksana, there might be things in sales, I imagine, that are using technology that are really changing as well.
Yeah, of course, everything, starting from the systems that we're using to the type of phone. We don't have the physical phones anymore. It's all done through the computer now. So everything in our roles in sales are transforming because of that. And we have to, in how we operate, we also have to catch up with how our customers work. So a lot of customers have an online presence. Therefore, we need to be we need to do our research as salespeople to learn about our customers. A lot of it is done through online, or get in touch, or use LinkedIn to get to know customers, etc., etc. Absolutely. So I think one of the question was about the drone. For example, again, drone pilots, what do they do with Royal Mail? Well, if you think about the machines that Sarah mentioned and the drones, they don't just operate by themselves. We need new roles that enable our people to work, to maintain these machines, because they are new machinery, to operate them, to operate the drones, because they're not going to be flying by themselves. So, so all of that's transforming our existing roles and evolving them to something that we 5 years or even 2 years couldn't have imagined, I guess.
Brilliant. Really, really interesting stuff. Moving subjects onto charity work now, there was a question which was around, if I worked with Royal Mail, would I be able to do charity work?
Yeah, charity work is a big thing for Royal Mail. And there's sort of lots of areas to work in, really. You know, we've had a lot of organised charity events that sort of the business has done and asked us as employees to get involved with. But there's also been ample opportunity where if you as an individual have a charity that you're passionate about and you're doing something to, whether it be fundraising, for example, you can then work with other sort of areas of the business to get your fundraising that you've done doubled. So the business is very, very much supportive of us doing whatever work we've done. When we previously had a grad programme, we aren't recruiting that at the minute, and that's why it's not been included in this presentation today. However, those schemes were also set charity challenges and things like that, and it was really not only to just support the charities, but to bring everybody in the business together under a common goal and to do something good. We also have our sort of individual charities internally that will support colleagues. So if colleagues fall on hard times and they need extra support, if it's around health and well-being, we have ample charities as well to support them. And you can work to be an ambassador for them as well. We've had, I know, some lovely ladies who used to be in my team who work as ambassadors for what we call our Rowland Hill fund as well. And they used to head up competitions promotions for the business, and, at Christmas time doing raffles and things like that. So I think, whatever your interest is, if there's charities that have a close place to your heart, there'll be ample opportunity with the business being able to support that as well.
Brilliant, thank you. Amal's just put something in the chat. He said, I can't believe how many different jobs there are at Royal Mail. It sounds so cool. It does. Right then, Tyson asked, do any other couriers post letters, or is it just Royal Mail? Is this another reason why you're different?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are the universal service provider in terms of delivering those letters. And I think you'll have seen at the beginning, there's around 2 billion parcels a year and around 13 billion letters. That'll have changed slightly at the moment, because I think that was last year's stats. But obviously times are changing. Letters are declining because people use email, they use Facebook Messenger, they use Instagram to send stuff to each other, don't they? I don't think people send postcards anymore, because you can send a picture to your mate on WhatsApp and say, hey, look where I am. But parcels are increasing, which is good. So I think as a business, whilst that is what makes us unique, it's very much, this is where everything comes in around innovation and digital and the way that we operate. That's what we're looking at to improve. And I think if we were to pick what makes us unique as a business, I would pick our frontline post people. They are obviously the people who come to your door. In many communities, they're the people who sort of bring the street together. They know each other, they help people out, and they are what we would call our sort of frontline people, and they're what makes us both most proud as a business, because when you see their uniform, you know that it's Royal Mail, don't you? It's the bright red uniform. So yeah, absolutely. I hope that sort of answers your question, even though I have gone on a bit of a tangent there.
No, that's brilliant. That's perfect. Right. This is a question which I suppose is difficult to apply to lots of different roles, but I'll ask it anyway, and you can interpret how you wish. Amal said, do you ever have to work in stressful situations? And please give an example.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. I think, a lot of people will work in different stressful situations, and that can be where something's going wrong. So if you're working with machinery and it's not working and you don't know how to fix it, that can be stressful. I've sometimes had stressful days where I haven't been able to find solutions to what maybe somebody's asked about an apprenticeship program, and they want it to be delivered in a certain way, and I can't find a provider to do that. But one thing that Royal Mail is very good at doing is we have lots of sort of support hubs. So we have internal learning pieces, we have networks that host like what we call webinars. And I've attended a few that are things like coping with mental health. How do you manage stress in the workplace? We have something internally called Feeling First Class as well, which is sort of a helpline that you can go to if you aren't feeling great, or if you do need some advice. And I think, I could reel off all the different stress scenarios that you could be faced with, or anyone who's faced with in a job on a daily basis. But I think it's about what you have in an organisation to support that and help you that's there. So again, I say Feeling First Class is a great thing. But I think also, we always say Royal Mail is people. I've just talked about our front line and said they're what make us unique. Very much internally, I think we all say our teams are what make us great, and the people that we work with. And I think we really pride ourselves on being able to help each other when there are those stressful situations, to be able to sort of, talk through ideas and get to a solution. So again, I hope that answers your question. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, brilliant. Right then, next question was, Laura said, would you say the Royal Mail is growing or getting smaller?
I think it's growing in terms of a business. And I think it depends on the area of the business that we're talking about, because a lot of our areas are quite niche, so they aren't necessarily growing in people, but what they might be growing in is ideas and processes and things like that. Oksana, I don't know, do you have anything to say about that from sort of your perspective in sales?
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you, Sarah, saying. As a business, we certainly are growing. We're trying to increase our market share, where we work with more customers, and we have more and more parcels we can operate, and this is partly the reason for the transformation. Of course, we have all the cost implications, but we want to ultimately be an effective and sustainable business. So it's. I pretty much agree with what you're saying. It's a growing business, but just growing in terms of, is it economically, or is it in terms of the people, or how do you see the growth itself?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think just going back to, the drones topic took up a lot of interest. That in itself is growth. It's been able to do something, develop the business so that it's accessible to people of all different areas. Now that in itself is growth of the business in terms of what you're able to provide in comparison to the competition. Nick asked, what are the key transferable skills required by Royal Mail?
Okay, I wouldn't say we require any specific skills as such. If we're talking about sort of our apprenticeships, they'll ask for things like engineering, want you to have an interest in science, because that's what you've got to do. I think in terms of those transferable skills, a lot of stuff that people have done at school, at college, that you do in your everyday interactions are really, really important though. Good communication, being able to work well as team players, and that might just be something that you think, oh, well, I can do that anyway because I've been part of this team that I've done ever since I was little, or I communicate with my mum all the time and she knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, what I would say as well is don't ever be worried that you think you might be sort of short of transferable skills for the organisation, particularly if we're talking about applying for an apprenticeship or an internship or work experience, because what we're looking at is potential. We don't expect you to be there and be sort of knowledgeable in absolutely everything already or have a big skills base. We're doing this to develop people and to help you guys develop, and in turn help us as a business develop. So within, I think Oksana might have touched on it with the traineeships, but again with T Levels and with apprenticeships, there's also, you've got the technical stuff of whatever you're doing. So if you're working in engineering, you need to know how to fix and maintain the machines. But there's also learning that runs alongside it to show, well, how can I work better with other people? How can I make sure that what I'm saying to other people is coming across in a clear way? How can I work with professionalism and all those sorts of things as well? So yeah, again, some basic skills are important. We want to be able to see that you can communicate well and that you've got a real drive and motivation and passion for whatever you're applying for. But at the same time, we're recognising that you're coming to us to develop as well, and we'll help you with that.
Brilliant. Great stuff. Thank you. Right, then still absolutely loads of questions for us to work through. So I'll do a couple of quick fire ones and then we'll go on to the more longhand ones. So we have, do you have to work overtime at Royal Mail?
So again, it would depend on where you work. If you're coming in on work experience or apprenticeships, then the answer is no, you do your working hours. If you come in on what's called our business as usual, so if you come in as a post person, there is opportunity for you to work overtime as well. But it would never sort of be forced on you. So it is something that's there as an option. But as an apprentice, you would come in and you would just do your core hours.
Perfect. There's a question around salaries. Now, this is difficult because obviously there's so many different roles. There was a question, first of all, which is how much do Royal Mail workers earn on average? And then there was another question specifically about how much the postal apprenticeship pays.
Okay, I'm assuming if that's a question, I've not included the postal apprenticeship rate on the slide, so I will get that for you. I don't have the salaries to hand, but they all are all on par. And generally what I would say as well is as you progress through our apprenticeship schemes, there's what's called incremental payments as well. So it would raise as you do each year. Oksana, I'm not sure if you have any of the rates for sort of the average. I guess it's a bit hard because we are a diverse business. Obviously, we have people who come in on entry level right up to sort of your senior managers. So it will really depend on what area of business you're interested in.
Brilliant. Yeah. Great stuff. Interesting question here. How did Brexit and COVID change Royal Mail work?
Oh, massively, massively. Obviously, there was lots of restrictions. So I think first off the top of my head, for our post people, obviously a lot of ours will drive in twos. They'll go in a van and then they'll split like that and do their route. We couldn't do that because obviously social distancing. I think more widely outside of that, a lot of us are now working from home on a blended basis with the office. We've changed in that way. I think there's a lot of processes as well that we did before that we now recognise were perhaps a little bit long-winded. And again, how could technology support them post-COVID to make sure that we were saving on time, saving on effort, and opening people up to do more things as well. Oksana, I don't know if you have anything to add from a commercial sales side on that.
Yeah, of course. So for us in sales, previously we have field roles, so field salespeople who would come and visit customers very regularly just to make sure that everything is running smoothly and offer customers any support. But of course, with COVID, we were unable to do that. And as you can imagine, some businesses had to close. Some businesses, in terms of Brexit, stopped exporting. So there were various things that changed, but also that presented many opportunities. Some businesses have massively grown and had started selling items that they've never sold before, and therefore it increased our parcels, it decreased our letters initially, and then it increased significantly our parcels. So operationally, we had to look into different things. And also in terms of Brexit, there were some various regulations that came into play, not just for Brexit, but generally about exporting different goods. So that's something not just Royal Mail had to learn, had to go with a learning experience that they had to go through, but also our customers as well. So in Royal Mail, specifically sales, we had to, I guess, to guide our customers in many cases and just offer them the right tools or the right knowledge to equip them with to carry on doing their selling. So there were a few significant challenges and opportunities it presented as well.
I understand. Brilliant. Thank you. I'm just going to send a bit of a klaxon here. There's about 10 minutes of the session officially left to go. There's loads of questions still for us to power through. And so I just wanted to give everybody a bit of a nudge that if you've got anything else that you want to ask, pop it in the chat and we'll try and squeeze any last minute questions in as well. But I will just crack on. Darren says, do you need work experience to apply for the apprenticeships?
No, you absolutely don't. So some of I think most of our apprenticeships just ask for sort of GCSE level or equivalent qualifications. A couple of them do ask for A levels or equivalent. So if you're looking at project management and that asks for A levels, if you've gone and done a level 3 apprenticeship somewhere or a level 3 diploma, that would also qualify. But in terms of work experience, absolutely not. If you've got some, great, please do include it on your CV, include what you did and what you learned from it, because that's great. But again, referring to what I said earlier, particularly with our apprenticeship programs, we're looking for potential. We're looking for somebody who is motivated and who is passionate about what they're applying for.
Brilliant, great stuff. Actually, while we're talking about interested and passionate, there was a question from Jana who said, do I have to make a CV for an application? If so, would saying I joined this session help my application as it shows that I'm committed?
Yes, please do. That's absolutely great. Again, for apprenticeships, it's a bit more clear cut because that all goes up on our early careers website. If you're interested in sort of having a T level placement with us, that would all be done for your college, and I don't think there's a CV there. It's just a bit of a summary of what you do. For internships, again, we would ask for a CV. But like I said, we're just looking for, your passion, your drive, that you really want to come and work for us. If you've done something outside of sort of your work or school life in your personal time, you've helped someone, you went and changed some light bulbs for your grandma and you help her with her housework all the time. If that's what you do, let us know, because that just shows that you're really passionate about helping people. And as a nationwide organisation that's serving right across the country, customers are at our heart, we say. So we are looking for people who want to sort of help others. So anything like that, just pop it on, and we're always interested to read about what you all get up to.
Yeah, great. On the subject of apprenticeships and applications, Charlotte says, can I apply for more than one apprenticeship?
Yes, you absolutely can. If there's a couple of areas that you're interested in, please do. I think, you know, our apprenticeships are very different. What I would understand, like if somebody, say, was interested in both project management and finance, what I would say is that if you want more information on them before you apply, to see if something like that may sort of swing you one way or the other, again, drop us a note at one of the email addresses and we'll be happy to talk through any questions on those programs. But yeah, if you're unsure, please do, because you can get more of an idea through the application process as well.
Wonderful, thank you. Shauna asked, which do you think is the best route, T Levels or apprenticeships?
I don't think there's a best route. I think there's a best route for you as an individual. And I would highly recommend just doing as much research as possible that you can. T Levels are a great option if you want to go to college and you want to study a specific thing before you go into the workplace. At the moment, like I said, we work with people who are on a digital T level. So as you would go and study, I don't know, science at A level, it's the same idea, but you'll just be looking at digital and how that works in the workplace. The great thing about T levels as well is that they have sort of an employability bit that runs alongside it. So your college should help you with some of those softer skills that we were talking about earlier, and to make sure that you have an idea about the workplace before you go in it. On that 45-day placement with an employer, that then gives you a bit of a taster, not only for that specific employer, but how you can apply something. Apprenticeships are good if you know what you want to do, you know exactly the route that you want to do, and you know where you want to go, and you're interested in what that employer is offering. It also gives you an opportunity to earn a bit earlier as well, doesn't it? Because if you're at college, you might want to get sort of a Saturday job, or you might want to just do your education and then look at that after. You know, there's lots of pros and benefits for each one that I could reel off. But what I would say is just do your research. If you've got a parent or a careers advisor, ask them, type it into Google. And if you've got any specific questions about the T level placements we offer or our apprenticeships, again, get in touch and I'll be happy to help.
Fab, brilliant. Nick asked, is it easy to transfer jobs between Royal Mail and Parcel Force?
Yes. So what I'd say is that if you have a role with us and you're employed by us, what you can do is work in the organisation when roles come up and apply for them. It's just as you would externally as well. It always helps to make them networks too. But yeah, there's no sort of issues because they're two different organisations per se. Parcel Force is very much a part of Royal Mail Group. So it's just as you would with any other role.
Brilliant, thank you. Darren also asked, where can I find out which universities you work with for the internships?
Yes, I can share them if you email us. However, what I would say is, just because we work with specific universities, we do put the ads out for internships as well. So if you're with a university and you want to know whether you can have an internship with us, email us and we'll be happy to work with your university to organise that where we can. If you're using it as a basis to apply to the universities that work with us, again, like I say, we don't necessarily just work with a select list now because that's only who we want to work with. We're just building up, and we're more than happy to work with universities nationwide anyway. So again, we can work with anyone basically, as long as we can get you a local placement.
Brilliant. Right then, I've got a couple of questions around interviews and applications, and then a few questions about yourselves, actually. So Nick said, are there any specific tips that you would give to succeed in interviews and applications? And also asked whether there's any psychometric tests that are necessary.
Okay, not in terms of the tests, not for apprenticeships. The Dependent upon the scheme, the sort of interview process might be a little bit different. So some of our larger schemes do sort of an assessment centre day where they'll bring you in and you can get a bit of more of an idea of what the job role does. So for Fleet, previously, pre-COVID, it was you would come in and you would look and work in groups on changing a tyre. And it was really just to see, is that working for you? Is that what you expected? And from our side, does that look like something you'd enjoy? For others, it's more sort of the traditional basis where you would come in and you'd be asked sort of like competency questions. So for anyone who doesn't know what I mean by that, it's sort of, can you tell me a time of when you worked really well in a team towards a successful goal? That might be that you're part of a football team and you came up with a plan because it was 2-0 and you really needed to beat the other team. What did you do? How did you get to the goal? And did you get there? And if you didn't, what did you learn from it? In terms of tips, again, I think I'd just go back and say, reminder, we're looking for a potential. We don't expect you to be, the world's best person passing an interview in all your glory. We're really just looking for people who are motivated, willing to get up in the morning and come and do a role. Because we appreciate if you've been in school, if you've been in college, if you've been in university in particular, sort of leaving education and coming into the workplace is a big step. And we are more than willing to help you get used to that. So we just need to make sure that you're motivated to do it as well. So I'd always just recommend to be yourself. Do a bit of research about whatever it is that you're applying for, just to show that you've done that and that you are interested. But just come in and share some stories about yourself. Tell us about what you enjoy doing. Show us what you want to learn. And that's really good.
Brilliant. Thank you. Well, we've still got some questions to go. I appreciate that some people have to leave the session now. What I will say is that we've covered really everything that there is to do with the roles. The questions that I'm going to ask now will cover more the culture of Royal Mail as a whole, and we'll be asking Sarah and Oksana a few questions about their experiences. So if you can stay with us, please do. But if you can't, all of the information that we spoke about regarding the roles we've covered, and we'll send the link to the session to everybody that's here today, along with the application links and email addresses. So don't worry about missing out on anything. I think a really interesting question to ask, which kind of breaks up the two sides of the questions, is what's the most unique item, I don't know whether you saw this, that Royal Mail has transported? Do you know?
I have no idea, so I'm going to look to you, Oksana, and see if you have any stories.
I have a lot of stories, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty of working in sales. You get to learn about all sorts of customers, but I can't think of anything right now. But anything pretty much that you see that's being posted with Royal Mail. I can tell you one thing. So we do have a lot of screening and the security procedures in place, and in mail centers, etc. And a lot of items are usually, if they are suspicious, we have the National Return Center. So I don't have any specific examples, but if there is something, for example, something that's looking a bit dangerous or something, we can call the police, or we can send it to the National Return Center to be for the item to be open. So there are lots of really cool procedures that I didn't even realize that Royal Mail has. So that's what I can share. But it's a shame. I wish I brought some good stories.
For us to think about. Yeah, that's what we've all got to go and find out. Right then. Okay. So now some questions about you both. Shauna asked, did either of you do an apprenticeship or work experience at the Royal Mail?
Yeah, so I'll quickly start and then I'll hand over to you, Oksana. So I came straight after sixth form. So I actually studied media studies and English for anybody who's interested. And I looked at university, didn't know what I wanted to do. I'm very much a home bird. I didn't want to leave my parents, so that might give some of you a laugh if you're like, I can't wait to get away. But yeah, I didn't want to leave home basically, and that's what made me look at an apprenticeship. So I came in and did a level 4 business admin apprenticeship. I was working on apprenticeships and graduate schemes. I was organising sort of the events, the accommodation, and then I progressed on to do the level 6 degree chartered manager apprenticeship. So I'm just coming up to the end of that now, whilst working in the team, but that was sort of looking at project management, applying, people management to my role. But I didn't come in with any work experience. I guess I had a sort of Saturday job beforehand, in a card shop. Like, it wasn't Card Factory, but like Card Factory. I'm sure many of you are familiar with that. So that helped me a little bit when I was sort of in the interview process. I was able to show how I worked as a team. But like I said before, if you haven't got any work experience, draw upon things that you do in your daily life, that you've done in school, that you've maybe done outside of school, where you've helped a friend, and that's always really good. But Anna, I'll let you share a bit about your apprenticeship journey.
Okay, thank you. I did have some work experience. You can hear my accent. So I'm from Ukraine. So I came to the UK about 5 years ago, and I was pretty much, even though I've had some education, I've had some work experience, but that was back in Ukraine, and I didn't have anything here to any experience that I had here. So yeah, I was pretty much like Sarah. I didn't know what I was going to do. I never had an experience working in a big corporate company, in a business environment. So, but I knew that I like to work with people. So I thought I saw this opportunity with for business-to-business sales apprentice for Royal Mail, and I thought, why wouldn't I try? Because like I said, I like working with people. And in regards to the actual application process and the interviews, etc., I couldn't agree more with you, Sarah. I didn't have much of an experience, and I remember the assessor I was telling him some stories about my life, answering the questions, and at times he was just laughing at me at the examples I was giving, and I was giving them, and obviously he wasn't being very, very discreet, but nonetheless, so that's but the assessors and the whole application process is designed in a way to get the best out of you, to get the answers that are required for you to meet and make you to meet what's needed and make you feel very relaxed. And that, the fact that he was laughing at some of my answers really helped me to settle down and actually produce some good quality answers that enabled me to get the apprenticeship. So, my best advice, just be yourself, like Sarah said.
Relax as much as you can. It's easy to say, but just have faith in the fact that having a conversation, opening up will get you where you need to be, I guess. Okay, so Aki asked you both, how do you find working at Royal Mail?
I find that no day is the same, is what I'll say. So you have a job role, and that might be, it might have repetitive things in there, but I think in my role, the amount of people that you speak to in the business that you work with, even just that in itself makes every day different. I can't say that I've ever got to the end of the week and thought, oh my gosh, I've just done 5 days of the same work. And I find that really good. That works for me. Other people, even now, if we take our post people who do the same rounds, that might be a bit more repetitive to them, but they're working with different people, they're speaking to different people. But like I said earlier, I think at the very beginning, there's always something for everyone in Royal Mail. So if you do like more repetitive work, we'll have areas of the business where you are doing the same thing. But then at the same time, we have a huge area of the business where it really is sort of a new opportunity every day. I said before that I came in on a level 4 business admin apprentice, arranging all of our sort of accommodation and our events. And I've now progressed where I will engage with you guys on sessions like this. I help our business leads to work on the apprenticeships that we've got to offer you and the work experience opportunities to make sure that the learning's there and the support's there for you guys. So even that itself, that's the progression in 4 years for me. So I would just stress that I think if you're looking for something where you want to experience different things, where you want to progress, even if just in the same role you want to be doing different things, then that Royal Mail is a great place for that. I don't know about you, Oksana.
Yes, certainly. Working with customers. One thing I forgot to mention. So the first 4 years, I've been with the company for 4.5 years. So the first 4 years, I did the role of an account manager. So I looked after after a set of customers and I spoke to different people. So absolutely none of the days were the same for me as well. And working with people has its own challenges, because people can have bad moods, or there's something happen within the business and they can be very emotional and negative and towards you. But often, and for me, it's helping people more often than not, helping people overcoming those challenges, or generally helping them to grow their business, to make positive changes in their business, and realizing that this is a part of your doing makes you feel really good about your work, and that part of the job satisfaction is definitely in sales quite a strong one, because our sales, we have two parts. We have the new business and we have account managers. So the new business, it will be the team that will be looking for new customers, and this is the sales placement will be in the new the traineeship will be in the new business area. So that's cool as well, because you can see that this is the company that you've started off 5 years ago, and they've grown now so significantly, and that's part of Royal Mail sales, where exactly like you're saying, Sarah, none of the days are the same, and makes you good about what you do.
Brilliant, thank you. Then we just got another quick question around working there. So Laura said, do you have a team meeting, and what are they like?
Yeah, so I think every team has team meetings, and I think they vary very much dependent upon what teams you're in. A lot in our operations, and I think even outside of that, we'll have daily sort of what we call huddles, which it might be 5 minutes in the morning just to check in with everyone, make sure you're feeling okay, and then set out what to do for the day. Personally, in my team, we have a couple of check-ins every week, particularly when we're working from home a lot, to make sure that we're all okay. We catch up about our weekends. We all know what's going on in our lives where we want to share, but then we're also sort of working on, what are you working on today? What are you working on this week? Do I need to give you a hand? And it's really good in terms of that opportunity as well, in being able to get involved in other projects. Again, some of the teams will have sort of a strategy day where they come together and they talk about what the future of the team is. There's lots of different ways that it's done. It just depends on the business area. But I think right across all of the teams, our team meetings will involve checking in, making sure everybody's okay. There's the opportunity, if you've got any issues in work or you need some help with something, to raise that. But again, opportunities to get involved in more things as well.
Brilliant. Thank you. Right then just to finish us the session off now, we've got just a couple of questions around how to find the information. So we've put the links in the chat. Everybody will be emailed. Megan asked, can she stay up to date with roles on Career Map? Well, we'll be speaking to the Royal Mail about getting them live with us, so don't worry about that, stay tuned. And the final question, which I think is really interesting, Daniel said, can you do another event like this, but for the roles that you don't think of at Royal Mail, and then how you would get basically the routes to each one? I suppose that's not a question to answer now, but it's definitely food for thought, isn't it? I think that there's just been so many kind of roles that people didn't even realise that you did, and they're super interesting as well. So something to think about. Right then, everybody, thank you for attending. Thank you for asking so many questions. It's been one of the busiest sessions that I've seen. Thank you to you, Sarah and Oksana, for not only putting together a brilliant presentation, but answering some, all of the questions so comprehensively. It's been brilliant. I'll just hand over to you and for just a bit of a parting statement before we log off.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. Thank you for having us. Again, thank you for interacting with the polls and watching the video. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate all your questions as well. I'd just like to reiterate that if you have any questions about anything we've gone over today, or careers that you didn't know we had at Royal Mail, please do email us. There's 2 emails on there, and I will most likely pick them up myself anyway, so I'll know what we're talking about when you reference Career Map. I'd just like the opportunity to just say to Mrs. Fell, who put a couple of things in the Q&A around school visits and talking about career options, we absolutely do them. It may not be myself or Oksana, but we will work with the local business units. So right across, we're a nationwide business. We'll work with them to get somebody over as well to talk to people. So again, feel free to email us at Early Careers or the Apprenticeships mailbox, and we'll get back to you on that. But yeah, just a final thank you for me, and thank you for sitting through the session and listening to us, and for all of your engagement.
Brilliant.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for your questions. They were absolutely great. It's next time if we're over here, we'll bring some interesting stories. And if you are interested in sales traineeship, do look out for the advert on the Apprentice Trust website, and I'll also email Sarah on early.careers@royalmail.com.
Brilliant. Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Thank you. Thanks, Heather.
Thank you.
Thank you, Heather.